Hey everyone, thank you for watching. Today's video I'm really excited to do. It is going to be a new tag video and it's all about eyeshadow palettes. It's gonna be a fun one. Today's video is the eyeshadow wardrobe tag, and this was started by Charlotte Holcroft and Morgan Turner. I will link both of their channels down below. I'm already too excited, I can't even speak. But I'm really excited. We have 10 different questions and it is supposed to be picking your eyeshadow palette that you would choose for that occasion. I absolutely love this idea. I love tags about eyeshadow palettes. I've created one of my own and I just think that they're super fun to do. And with eyeshadow palettes, like there's just such a huge variety. It's been really fun to see the videos that have come out doing this tag and just all of the different palettes that have been mentioned. So I'm really excited to do mine. I've gotten so many requests to do this, so thank you to everyone who's commented wanting this video. Before I hop into it, I do just want to say it is storming really badly right now where I live in Iowa, so if you can hear rain and thunder, it's because I'm really close to a window. I'm going to try to get through this video as quickly as I can because it is just really bad weather outside, so I do apologize about that. It's pitch dark outside, so my lights are really trying to work hard for me today. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. There are 10 different questions or 10 different occasions that we are picking eyeshadow palettes for. So I have them all on my phone. So the first one is an eyeshadow palette that you would wear to a wedding or as a wedding guest. I did wedding guest because this was the first palette that I thought of because I have worn this to so many weddings. I've had this eyeshadow palette for a while. I've been to several weddings while wearing this one, and I think it's great. And that is the Sultry palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Something about this, like, it just makes me feel fancy when I grab this one out. It just makes me feel a little bit more glam, and for some reason that's where my mind goes to when I think of a wedding guest. Like, I want to be pretty and glam. I don't want to be too over the top. And that's what I reserve for the bride. No! But still, I feel like I can do some really fun looks with this one. There's some beautiful shimmers in here. I like the mattes in here also, but I just reach for this one so often when I am going to be going to a wedding. I think it's fun. Sometimes I do some of the same looks from this one, but I don't mind that because that's what I enjoy. But something about the package, it just gives me those vibes. All right, question number 2 is date night. So when I saw this, I was like, let's think about this, because my husband is someone who doesn't like glitter, even like really shimmery stuff, but definitely glitter. He is like he hates glitter on anything, not just on me, but like cards with glitter on it, not so good. Like, I remember we went to a wedding one time and there was glitter like on the actual tables. You would have thought like he thought they had a personal vendetta against him. So I was like, okay, I think that I would prefer going for an all matte look because I like all mattes. I love all matte palettes, big fan. And I feel like Mitch would enjoy that also, but I still want something where I feel like myself, but I feel confident. So I went through my eyeshadow palettes and I pulled out this one from Lawless. This is the One eyeshadow palette. Now, I like this palette a lot because the mattes I feel like are so easy to work with, and you definitely have a lot of them. There are some different shimmers in here and I really like that those are included, but it really is, I mean, it's a majority matte palette, which again, I appreciate. But there's so many different shades of brown in here, which I know that might be exciting for all of you, but it's exciting for me. But then you also have yellow, you have some terracotta, you have some purples in here, you do have the black if you want to smoke things out a little bit. I think that this is a great palette. I really like the mattes in here too because it's a formula that you build up. It's not too pigmented, so again, when I like just really want to feel confident and good, this is an eyeshadow palette that I know is not going to play me, and I appreciate that. All right, question number 3 is an eyeshadow palette for girls' night. Well, alrighty then. I was thinking about this, and you guys know my girlfriends here on YouTube. You probably know them: Charlotte Tilbury, Natasha, Denona, Pat McGrath. So I was like, I feel like I really have to choose one of their eyeshadow palettes because when I'm having girls' nights, it's typically with them. Right? All right, that is a joke, but I thought... All right, that may be a joke, but let's just pretend. And I wanted to grab out this little quad from Charlotte Tilbury because, man, I like this one so much. This is the Green Lights quad. I'm just a fan. I'm just a big fan of this eyeshadow palette. I feel like this palette is what started to turn me on to green eyeshadows because I really have never really been into green. Don't really like wearing green. I thought something with green and green eyes, I was like, I just don't know if this is the right thing for me to do. And then I tried this palette and now I am a fan of green. So I feel like this would be fun for a girls' night because it's like a little bit sassy. like a little bit, like not too much, but it's like a little bit on the sassy side, and it's beautiful. It's easy for me to work with, and I feel like Charlotte would buy me an extra drink if I wore one of her palettes, you know? All right, the fourth question is an eyeshadow palette for vacation. This was a tough one for me. I thought of a lot of different things. I thought of bigger eyeshadow palettes. I thought of more colorful eyeshadow palettes. I thought of neutral palettes with like some pops in them. I was like, what am I going to do here? But I finally decided on the Tati Beauty Volume 1 palette. Now I did it for a couple of different reasons, because I like in here that I can do something really neutral, which is more me, but I can also amp it up. I can add in some different color. I can go a little bit smoky. I can go a little bit darker. It has a lot of different like textures in here. We have mattes. We have some of these more shimmery shades. Obviously we have the glitters up here, so if there's like a night that I'm feeling really fancy and I'd want to go for the glitters, I have a whole row of glitters that I can choose from. But I also chose this as my vacation palette because, can you see me? Because this is just a nice mirror in this eyeshadow palette, and sometimes it's a little bit tricky if you're getting ready in like a hotel or something. Maybe the lighting isn't the best and you really want to get ready in front of the window because natural lighting is great, but then you're like, oh no, I don't have a mirror, and you're trying to use like a small mirror. If you have this one, you can see everything. Like, it's so, what? To do your makeup in this? Yes, please. So that also, I feel like the mirror was kind of like the deciding factor, because I think at one point I had 5 different eyeshadow palettes out and I was like, you know what? We're gonna go with the Tati Beauty. All right, the fifth question is an eyeshadow palette for graduation. So this was a tough one for me because I was like, okay, my first thought is maybe something a little bit neutral, but or like, should it be something really shimmery and glittery and like celebratory, or what should I do here? I decided to go with this one from another girlfriend. This is from Pat McGrath, and this is the Divine Rose palette. This is one of the real expensive palettes from Pat. But it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. And if I was doing a look, I feel like I most definitely would use the second matte because it's one of my favorites. But I also think I would use this shade down here, something really like shiny and sparkly and like, yes, celebratory. But another reason that I chose this was because I feel like graduation is a big deal. And when I graduated from college, I wanted to get myself a gift as like, yes, you did it, congratulations, way to go. And I bought a bed. I bought a new bed. I was moving off campus. I was moving into my own apartment. I needed a grown-up bed and not just the twin bed that was supplied by my college. So I bought a queen-size bed. I bought it all by myself, and I was really proud. That was my graduation gift. And I had that bed for many, many years until my husband and I upgraded. And I thought this pretty much costs the same as a bed, so I felt like this fit in really well with this question. Okay, my bed might have been slightly more expensive than this eyeshadow palette, but you know me, I love to tell stories, and I thought that I would tell that one because there was that. But this would be my palette that I chose for graduation. Question 6 is an eyeshadow palette for Christmas Day. This was another one. I had a tough time with this one. I feel like some of my first thoughts on like all of these questions are like neutral and something quick and easy, just like the kind of looks that I like to do. But I was like, okay, let's think. I had a bunch of palettes picked out, but I decided to go with this one. It's a newer one, but I just enjoyed this palette so much. This is the Sigma Untamed palette. I'm having a real hard time not using this eyeshadow palette. It is so fun. It is just, I feel so inspired by it. There's so many different looks that I want to create. For me, it definitely leans more on the fall winter side, but you have this really beautiful green. You have more of this red shade in here. You have some of the shimmers. You have the gold. Like, to me, those are kind of like my Christmas colors. I do celebrate Christmas, and that's kind of like what that's the colors that I think about. And so I feel like you could do a look with that, but I just really like this eyeshadow palette, and I wanted to tell you guys about it. Kind of the main thing, but I felt like I could bring Christmas into that too, and who knows, maybe this will be the palette that I wear on Christmas Day. It just might be. All right, number 7 is an eyeshadow palette for a birthday party. Now, it just said birthday party, so I was like, is it like I'm going to someone's birthday party, or is it my birthday party? And I decided to make it my birthday party because it's my video. I can do what I want. So if it's my birthday, I was like, okay. Once again, lots of different palettes came to my mind, but I was like, let's do just one of my favorite palettes, one of my top palettes, something that I think is fun. I can maybe do something a little bit colorful with it. The Natasha Denona Love palette. Oh yeah, I'm such a fan of this palette, you guys. You guys know I'm a big fan of this eyeshadow palette, and I feel like so many of you are also. So I run a like little challenge giveaway thing on my Instagram every month. I've done it last month and I'm doing it this month and I'm gonna do it next month too. And it's called #SamSquadSearch. I have a whole highlight on my Instagram about it. But basically I put up a word search and you are supposed to look at it, and the first 3 words that you find come up with an Instagram post. A makeup look, a video, a flat lay, some sort of other creative photo, whatever you guys want. You have until the 25th to post your look and you get entered into a giveaway. And last month and this month, the prize is one winner gets to choose any eyeshadow palette that I featured in my Ranking 2020 eyeshadow palette video here on YouTube. There's over 30 palettes in that video. There's really affordable ones, but there's also really high-end ones. There's Natasha Denona, there's the Pat McGrath Divine Rose palette, there's Charlotte Tilbury in there. There are some really high-end luxury palettes in that video, and I chose the winner for last month and I said, you know, congratulations, you won. Let me know what palette you want. I will order it and send it to you. And she said the Love palette, and I was like, I mean, I was like, I had pretty much convinced myself that whoever it was just gonna pick the Pat McGrath, and I was just gonna, you know, just gotta send it to him and it's gonna be great. Send a new one, of course. And she chose the Love palette, and I was like, girl, we are on the same level here. I was so excited to send this to her, and hopefully it's gonna get to her soon because I ordered it recently, and I hope that she loves it because I love it too. So if you guys are on Instagram and you want to play along and you want a chance to win, again, any eyeshadow palette from that video, you can follow me on March Beauty Word on Instagram. But the Love palette, again, I love the colors in here. Pinks and purples are just some of my favorites to play with. The mattes are so beautiful. There's some really fun shimmers in here. This is a fun one. So if it's my birthday and I want to do what I want to do, then I want one of my favorite palettes with me. Number 8 is an eyeshadow palette for the office. Once again, my mind was like, neutrals, 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 something really basic, just like a small basic staple palette. I have the e.l.f. bite-sized palettes out for a while, just like cream and sugar, just something like really fast and easy to go with, but I haven't worked in an office for quite some time. I left my job probably 6 years ago at this point, and so I haven't worked in a, you know, traditional office setting in a while. But I was like, think back to what I actually wore, because even though I left my job before I had a YouTube channel and everything, and but I still always loved makeup. Even though I wasn't doing what I do now, I still loved makeup and I still like to play with it. And one thing that I would do when I like wanted to like try to be a little bit sneaky, not that we couldn't wear over the top makeup, but just like for the setting that I worked in, just was probably better not to. And that's a whole other story. I'll get into that story another time. But something that I would do is like really neutral on my eyes, but then a pop of color on my lower lash line. To me, it was like, yeah, I'm like still doing makeup, I'm still doing something fun, but it's still like office acceptable, if you will. So looking at my eyeshadow palettes, the one that I decided to grab for this one is the Pure and Raw Beauty Kristi collab. Now I chose this one because on one side you have just a really neutral palette. So again, something really quick and easy. A lot of times I had a long commute, so I would almost always get ready at my desk. I would just bring a makeup bag with me, get ready at my desk. So this would be a great one, really fast to do. But if I was having those days, or maybe it was a Friday, or maybe my boss was out of the office, or like everybody was out of the office except for me, boom, we got the colorful side over here. I could do something fun on my lower lash line, and it just would make me feel like, well, bam, I got it going on. Question 9 is errands or your everyday go-to. So when I did the eyeshadow palette tag, I did it a couple months ago. It was a collaboration with Ali Glines. It went so well. It was so much fun to do, and so many other people did it, which was so cool. I'm still seeing people do that tag, which is awesome. But I'm pretty sure this is the one that I mentioned in that video also as my everyday like go-to palette. And that is from Natasha Denona, and it is the Mini Nude palette. This really is just such an everyday palette for me. I fit pan on the second shade there. I wear this palette so often. I do like when I'm just like running out quickly and I just need something to like throw in my eyes, boom, this one. A lot of times I'll just use the second shade. Sometimes I mix the two mattes. I typically always mix the two mattes for my lower lash line. I can add in some shimmer if I want to on my lid, or just have an inner corner highlight, which kind of like can brighten up the look. It's just, I love it. It's just one of my top like go-to palettes. So definitely there was no other choice for this question. It had to be Natasha Denona Mini Nude. All right, and then the 10th and final question is an eyeshadow palette for New Year's, and I chose out from Colourpop. Mine is the Smoke Show palette. It has been renamed to the Blowing Smoke palette, and it is just a cool tone palette, lots of gray and silver in here. Like, to me, this just screams New Year's. This is what I wore on New Year's last year. And it just, yeah, it's just totally that type of vibe. This was the first palette that I thought of when I saw that question too, and I just knew that there was no other one that I wanted to put in. This would be my New Year's palette. Maybe it'll be my New Year's palette again this year. Who knows? Because at this point, I mean, honestly, like, really, who knows what else is coming our way for 2020. But even if I'm just sitting at home all by myself, maybe I will wear this palette because it's a fun one. Other than that though, those are my 10 palettes. That is the eyeshadow wardrobe tag. I hope that you guys enjoyed seeing this one. Thank you so much to Charlotte and Morgan for such a fun video idea. Thank you guys for requesting this one. I had a lot of fun sitting down to film it. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. Were any of my palettes surprising to you? Were you not so shocked? Answer some of the questions yourself in the comments because I, of course, would love to know. But this was a fun one. If you guys have any other ideas for me or any other tags you want to see me do, please just let me know. I find that really helpful. And as always, if you guys did enjoy this one, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. I hope you also consider subscribing before you go, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.